right, time for Professor Gadget. Jim George is in the studio. Joe Martone joining us again, and we're going to talk to Jim about gadgets. The phone line is open. If you have a question about your cable, your TV antenna, maybe your radio antenna, this is a good time to call. You got two guys here today that can answer some of these technical questions. Good morning, Jim. How are you?
Somebody else come in.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, you. I'm talking about you.
Oh.
All right, so I'm a little bit confused. Just before we went on the air, we were talking about Galen Unald's story this morning.
The Galen Unald's
He was talking to us on his cell phone and went to get gas, and then he drove off, still talking to us, but the phone was on top of the car, and the phone fell off the car. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, we couldn't hear him anymore. So I said he had a wireless connection between his headset and his phone, and you said no, it was Bluetooth. So help me understand this.
So the phone was talking to the car, and the car was talking to him.
So there's no wire.
There was no wire. The headset was wireless.
So why is that not considered wireless then?
Well, it is considered it's an indirect connectivity between the cell phone. So you can put your cell phone on your dash, let's say, and create a hotspot. And that hotspot, you can surf the internet on a laptop.
Okay, but he's got the phone in the car,
right?
Talking through what?
To the radio speakers usually.
So he had no headset. When he was out by his gas pump, we could still hear him?
If he had a headset on, then you could. But but in his car, he may just start speaking. It just talk.
I'm so confused by the word wireless, though. It's a semantic thing, I guess.
Means no wires.
So then why was I
funny
corrected?
Man here.
Why, if there's no wires, was I corrected when I said it was wireless?
It was wireless, but I think what you meant was that he was talking on a headset that talked directly to the cell phone. In this case, the cell phone was connected to the Bluetooth of the radio, and the Bluetooth of the radio is his point of contact.
So wireless. So what does wireless actually mean then?
Just what I said.
No wire.
No wires.
And what does Bluetooth actually mean?
Bluetooth is a form of communication that uses no wires.
But there's no wire. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll never get it. This is why you're here answering these questions. All right.
Where's your Verizon man when you need him? Where's Matt?
Yeah.
Come on, Matt, call in.
Get your Matt here.
Hey, I just want to make sure that I don't sound like an idiot when I'm out there in the real world.
In the real world,
it's easy for me to sound like an idiot. So I say from now on, it's a Bluetooth, not a wireless.
If you're connected to Bluetooth. It can be wireless and not connected to Bluetooth.
It's okay. We move on from this subject to the next subject.
What do you got?
How bad did the phone get damaged?
He said it was all a blue screen, so he wasn't sure. He was afraid to hang up for fear that he wouldn't be able to call anybody.
He said he was going to get back in touch with whoever he had to do. He would have to go back to his car, connect Bluetooth, and use his car.
Yes.
To connect with everybody.
Yeah.
So you can call.
Right, you could say call Larry, and it'll call Larry.
If it's in his contacts in the car.
If it's still making contact.
Now, I understand also some cars will, via Bluetooth, will connect to your contacts in your phone if you allow it to. So all your contacts in your phone can be called from your car. So I can call Jim George, I can call Pete, I can call John just by saying their name, but it has to be exactly the way it's typed in your contacts, correct?
The marvels of technology.
You know, one of the laws that I used to think was a law in driving a car is you could not have a TV in the front seat. You had to have all the TVs.
Isn't that a law still?
Right, that was a law, yeah.
Okay, so isn't having a handheld phone or a tablet
just as destructive? Yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of so that already should be against the law just simply based on that TV law.
That's why they're outlawing texting, because you have to look at the screen intently to text. But now they have the voice.
You beat me to the punch on that one. Yeah.
You talk to it. But be careful what you say, because
it will text exactly what you say.
Or close.
Or worse.
Close.
just like those birthday cakes where they dictate on the phone, I want to put a birthday cake here, and I want them to have nice big blue balls for the football, and they write down, I want him to have big blue balls for the football, Instead of making blue balls on there, he writes the words down. Exactly. So with texting, it's the same thing,
Yeah. You got to be careful what you say nowadays.
But texting is very semi-precise.
Mm-hmm.
Semi, because you're speaking, and then it's translating what you're speaking into text.
It is.
And sometimes a word is not what the word is.
I don't have that software. All my daughters and my wife have the software, but I'm not a text person. So you might text me Monday and say let's do lunch, and I might see it Thursday.
Yeah,
You can do lunch Thursday.
Jim, you call.
So something more along your lines.
You
of
want me? Call me.
Cable TV. I have a question about cable TV in general, because there was a story this morning about a show called The Defenders on Netflix.
Okay.
Apparently, it's not doing well. So it's just like it's always been, isn't it? It's programming is really the driving force behind anything.
Yes. And Showtime just announced that they have something coming on Sunday night at 10 o'clock. It's called Laid to Rest. And it's about, I think, it's a family that dies or something. It's supposed to be a comedy and everything.
Oh, my God.
And I can't understand any of that.
How is that funny?
Dark comedy. Dark comedy.
Yeah, how is that funny,
They had one on years ago called 6 Foot Under.
But there's
a family that were undertakers or something. So
there was an article on multi-channel news yesterday about DirecTV, the Federal Trade Commission suing DirecTV for $4 billion. And they claim that this deceptive advertisement. So when they say to you things like, we're going to go ahead and give you Showtime free for 3 months, they do. But what they fail to tell you is if you don't call on the exact day ending in 3 months and cancel, then they bill you starting
For the
right then and there, and because now you said yes and you're a subscriber. They also say when they say introductory $29 and you get 150 channels, as soon as that introductory is done, 1 month, 2 months, whatever, it goes way up. So the average DirecTV bill is over $150 a month.
yeah, if you miss that window.
Right, you have to.
That's why I don't have cable.
And they say it's deceptive because people, when you call them on the phone, they can't remember the exact day you call them. And,
Right.
And they don't get anything in the mail saying, remember, call this day if you want to cancel.
Yeah, they're going to say,
so
we
you-
want you to cancel this subscription.
So you can't mark it on your calendar to call like.
You can if
Well, you should.
if you're right there and you think about it, sure.
Well,
or you
but-
could do it on your cell phone.
Let me finish the question though. I mean, you couldn't call like 3 days early.
You could cancel whenever you wanted to cancel,
Ah.
but you can't cancel in advance. In other words, you can't say, this is August the 1st, and I understand I have to cancel by August 31st. I'd like to have you terminated August 31st.
Oh, you can't let them
No,
know.
there's like a 72-hour window of opportunity.
So like when they sign up, here's your free subscription for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to sign up for this for 3 months, and after I cancel, you can't do that.
No, you have to call and cancel physically. So anyway, the FCC, the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission's after them for $4 billion.
Billion.
But
with a
that's
B.
nothing for people like DirecTV and people like Apple and
That's a daily intake.
that's
hard to
just
believe.
Nothing.
Well, when you actually put physical cable or optics down up in the mountains, because you're up in Boone a lot, right?
Right.
Does that present a problem? I mean, this is probably not anything most people can relate to, but I'm just curious about getting actual physical cable. Do you put it up on the pole or down in the ground? Where do you put it?
We try to put it in the ground, but it's rock, so you have to get a rock cutter. It's a saw that saws rock, and to do a 4-inch trench and to do 30 inches deep.
Are you sharing the space with other companies?
You sometimes have to. Like AT&T had a fiber in the ground, and they came out and marked it for us and said, "Here is our fiber."
Don't cut our fiber.
Right, and they told us how deep it was.
Oh, really?
So we moved over a couple of inches, more like I think 8 inches.
What would
And-
happen if you used their same groove?
Well, then when they had a problem and had to get down to their fiber, they have the right to cut you because you put yours on top of
Oh,
them.
so you don't pay rent for that space.
No,
What's the earth?
you have a right of way. It's a public right of way, but you can't make it difficult for another person to operate.
Do you have to put the fiber optic inside a tube?
Most of the time, it's inside conduit. If it's not, then it's called direct burial, and it's armored. So you can damage it, but you have to try hard. It's got an armor around it.
if getting back to the earlier question about programming, if programming drives everything,
It does.
and you're in charge of a cable company, are you personally the one who picks the programming for your customers?
No, what I try to do is if it's a dollar cents thing, in other words, if I only have enough money to do 50 channels, then I'll pick the channels in that case because I know people like CNN or they like, let's say, Lifetime or Hallmark.
Right.
So I'll choose what I think the people want. But once I have enough money to launch 50 more channels, then I know I'll eventually add them all.
Can you tell which ones are being watched?
I can. through software. I don't do it because it means I have to monitor. But the reason the software is there is for the Nelson reports and other people, the Gannett's. They get in and they tell HBO, nobody on Jim's system watched you.
So I'm guessing that you're one of many people around the country that have small cable communities, right?
Yes.
So do you have like production companies knocking on your door, calling you on the phone all day long?
All day long. Just got off the phone with one called Innovative Systems while I was in the parking lot.
And they want you to carry their programming.
Well, this guy wasn't so much programming. He wanted me to carry his middleware. Middleware is what the Nielsen's and Gannett's of the world use to get into me to find out who's watching and what time of day. But in the DirecTV article, it's quite interesting, and it basically said the average person stays on a channel a maximum of 5 minutes. And
wow.
Yeah, they cruise. In other words, as soon as the commercial comes
surfing.
on or whatever, they,
Do they break that up, male and female? Because that's always
No,
the...
you can't tell that who's watching.
That you don't know?
No. But, the way to make money is to charge roaming charges, as they roam through the channel.
Don't give anybody any ideas.
There's no such thing as roaming charges.
No, don't give any.
But, people switch on and off all the time, switch channels. So, so the average person stays on, and the average person watches 11 channels.
Let's take a little break. We'll be right back. If you have a question for Jim or Joe about technology, you can call right now. The number is 622-9622. Well, I figure Joe knows radio.
Well, I'll defer it to you.
Well, a lot of times when somebody calls with a radio question, you'll say, well, ask Larry that. And I'm not really a good person to ask. So. All right, we'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Friday, a mix of clouds and sun with a shower and thunderstorm in the area through the evening hours. High today 88 to 92. Then later Friday night, partly cloudy, low 74 to 78. Saturday, partly sunny with an afternoon thunderstorm in the area, high 90 to 94. And for Sunday, more clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a heavier thunderstorm, high 87 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
When we're stressed, we tend to take shallower breaths. If our brain isn't getting enough oxygen, it'll send signals to our body telling it to yawn deeply in order to get more air. Female Tinder users are 98% less likely to swipe right on your profile if your bio section is blank. Taking breaks does, in fact, help boost our mood and makes us more creative and productive.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
I'm Jan Marino from Palm Garden of Ocala, and I'd like to tell you about the Palm Garden Way. We promote individual care, of course, but we also encourage GEMS. That's going the extra mile, and these are thoughtful individual gifts that make each guest stay special. A gem could be a daily latte or a new book or something else that means a lot to our guest. To find out more about the Palm Garden Way, take a tour, located on the corner of 27th Avenue and 34th Street in Ocala.
The entire world watched. They watched each step down the rungs of that small ladder, one after another, and waited with great anticipation for that last step.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
At that moment, humanity saw the impossible become the possible. And today, the sky is not the limit. Achievement. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
An unexpected pregnancy can turn a young woman's life upside down. The House of One in Faith in Ocala gives these young women a place to live in privacy and comfort under the Christian care of counselors who will guide and protect both the woman and her unborn child. The House of One in Faith is confidential, loving, and free. For more information, call 352-687-8895.
20 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Jim George is here from American Cable Services talking about technology as he does every Friday. And there was one story that I wanted to ask you about, and I know this is kind of way beyond anything any of us have to care about, but there was a story from the Xinhua news agency, which is the Chinese news agency out of Beijing.
That's what I was talking about.
Chinese scientists have completed an experiment out of the realms of science fiction where they were able to teleport a photon into space. So help me understand this a little bit. So they could teleport something. In other words, like in Star Trek, when they teleport people, right, from point A to point B with like instantly. Okay, so they did it with a photon, and scientists say this is the first step to becoming what they show in Star Trek. I thought a photon was a piece of light, like a dot of light or something.
It basically is. It's just like a dust speck.
So how did they even know they were successful? They teleported it.
Well, logically,
it's not here anymore. So.
Well, it's not here at point A. So it's at point B. There it is. We did it.
Yeah, but don't you do that with a flashlight? When I turn on my flashlight, doesn't it teleport the light from my flashlight to the wall?
It continues the light. It doesn't teleport it. It continues the light. In other words, there's no break in between.
Anyway, it was in the news.
So if you light that light on the wall, you got that light on the wall, but then 10 feet away there's another wall. Oh, it's through, what's in between? Nothing. Oh, but how did it get there? That's still, I don't know. I've heard they teleported an orange or something. I don't know if that's true or not.
No, they ain't gonna do any of that stuff.
Not in our lifetime, exactly. But they will do it.
Well, that's what you're saying, but this article disagrees with you.
Well, yeah, but that thing is smaller than a speck of dust. You can't even see it without an electronic microscope. So how they can say they did it, I have no idea, because you won't be able to see it.
They sent it to a satellite named Micius, M-I-C-I-U-S.
So that's what weighed 1 proton heavier than it did before?
No, lighter. No, it's light in space, yeah.
Right.
It was a misguided venture, that's all I can say. And how many billions of dollars were spent on that experiment, you know?
But, I guess, like Jim said, we'll be dead and gone and buried in ashes, and then maybe next generation, then they might do it. Who knows?
Can I just read what it says to you?
Yeah,
and then let you argue about this. Sure. In the experiment, debate. The scientists transmitted quantum states of photons from a ground station about 5,100 meters above sea level to Ali Prefecture, southwest China's Tibet Autonomous Region, to the satellite, which is 500 kilometers above the Earth's surface. So they went from point A on Earth to point B on Earth up to the satellite.
And the satellite collected it, apparently.
Well, the A to B could be done by anyway, fiber, whatever. It's not. But up to the satellite, I don't know how they would tell if they ever received it. Okay, I got the proton in my hand. I don't know.
Yeah, all right.
I think that's beyond my expertise.
Sure. I know. It's just interesting because everything that we talk about started out as somebody's idea that somebody else said is never going to happen.
Well, you go to the doctor now and you go get your blood, your blood pressure. They strap a thing that looks like a watch on you, and it just boop, 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 boop. No more all this with the thing with your arm and now there's a handheld device that's doing it. You've heard about that one, Jim, yet?
No, not yet. No.
So do you control anything at all from like a tablet? Do you do that?
I do not. It's only because of me. It's not because of technology. The technology is there, and you have to have patience for that technology. I'm the kind of guy that
What do you mean patience for the technology?
I go from one subject, you might say, to the next subject, to the next. I don't linger a lot.
You might get a roaming charge for that.
That's what I'm just saying. Yeah.
Your little cubicle things. Boom! I'm done with this. Next. Here's the next.
I had 4 jobs yesterday. I finished before 9 in the morning.
Okay.
I'd already completed 4 separate tasks, people's homes and places I had to be to do items and fixing a person's phone system. And so, I'm not going to sit in the truck, for instance, and write down or text myself notes, for a future. I just remember it.
Mm-hmm, right.
So your appointments, how are you? All right, 2 weeks from now, you have an appointment.
I have a daytime calendar for that. That just tells me.
Is that electronic or written?
It's all written. Everything is written. And I have every daytime calendar since 1963.
Wow.
You call me a hoarder. I don't want to talk about it.
No, I like it because I go back to previously here to see, what I had done and when I had completed it, and I do that for all my licensing stuff.
So you carry it with you all the time?
I carry the one single one for this year. The rest of them are in a drawer.
Logically, I figured that. Mm-hmm. So if I were to approach you and say, Jim, are you free next Tuesday at 9 in the morning? You'd have to go to your truck.
I open it up. There it is.
In your truck.
Yep,
so if you're not near your truck, you won't know if you're available or not.
But everybody else does it on their cell phone.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Well, see, and then you're just expressing kind of the difference maybe in the generations, because when I took Robin to the airport, Robin had printed up a piece of paper for her plane ticket, and we walked up to the counter, and she was like one of two people that did that. Everybody else was by a kiosk with their phone.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out the new stuff.
Yeah, the kiosk.
Either that or be stubborn and stick with the
when
paper.
we go to Denver, Colorado here in October, my daughter would just swipe her phone, and I'll hand them the paper. But see, I keep the paper
I see.
because
So
it's got several things. It tells me my seat assignment. I don't have to keep my cell phone on as I walk down the aisle.
That's true.
All right, it tells me my cost. And I'm sitting next to a guy who's bragging about he only paid $59 for a trip I paid $359 for, you know. So, nope. I like the paper. And then I throw it into a file where my accountant grabs it. And when he sees, let's say, $59 out of my account, and then he sees a receipt for $59. But if it's on your phone, he doesn't see your phone. He doesn't know what you paid. You know, how do I put that? Was that capital expense? Was that a personal visit? Was that a business expense? So I keep the paper, so when I give it to him...
That makes sense. That makes sense to do it that way, for that reason.
Yeah, but the electronics is the new way, per se. They're saying, coming up, that people are saying that money is going to go, and everything's going to be electronic.
Money goes now, so it's...
No. All right, physical money, a dollar bill.
Yeah.
You know, it's comical, because I'll go to a counter, and it's like $2 or something, and I'll pull a $5 bill, and I'll ask them, do you take cash here? Mm-hmm. And in my lifetime before, I never had to ask, do you take cash here? I remember the first time we went to Walmart's gas station, and I pulled up there, and I got cash to pay for my gas, and it said credit cards only.
Yeah, they have those.
And I remember also at a fast food store when they started to take credit cards. At a fast food place,
are they doing this through the TVs now? I remember in Epcot one time they showed people ordering stuff through their TVs.
You can order it through your TV now. The house I went to yesterday morning, I got to be careful. I don't want to give away the name. But the person says to me, the phone's not working, but I see someone's calling me because it comes on my TV.
Yes.
Let's say my brother-in-law is calling me. So a picture of him, because they had a picture like on your cell phone. The picture comes up and says, everything. Brother-in-law calling, answer yes or no. And if she says yes, it's supposed to pick up the phone and she can talk to her TV. If she says no, then it goes to the machine and leaves it.
And he can see her and she can see him, or is that?
If they're both at a TV, yes. But she turns her camera off. Remember we talked about the camera on the TV?
Yeah.
And she turns her camera off on the TV.
Or a piece of electrical tape.
So could she theoretically be watching TV and just say to the TV, hey, would you order a pizza?
Well, it usually has to do with the advertisement that pops up. You allow pop-ups on your smart TV, or you
I'll take one of them. I'll take one.
Yeah, I'll take one.
I've got this little gadget that looks like a button. I won't mention the brand. It's like a button, and I say the name. It comes up, and I can connect that to my phone, Bluetooth it to my phone. There's that word Bluetooth again, Larry.
I heard you. But there's no wire attached to it.
There's no wire attached to it, right. And it can connect all my contacts into that device. Do I want to tell that device all my contacts in my phone, or do I want to keep my phone separate from that? So when it grabs it, will it grab all my contacts, or it just uses them off my phone? That I don't know.
And keep in mind, anybody can get into that box remotely.
Out of time.
Another
wow!
You wasted another perfectly good half hour.
What he says. I'm glad you're far away from the microphone.
If you need any help with your cable, or if you want to learn about the antennas Jim's been talking about, give him a call at American Cable Services at 854-9795.
Correct.
Wow.
9795.
There you go.
We'll be right back.
News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. Spanish police have their hands full as the hunt for suspects in 2 terror attacks expands.
They have killed 5 attackers that were trying to carry out an attack.